what they collectively wanted to do was pull our resources and our time and experts and bring an event to the students. And so that's what this event's going to be. It's a one day and give everybody an opportunity to bring the students to Ball Conference Center and have contact with dozens of businesses and also higher ed, because that'll be the continuum. Everything from the jobs that they're interested in, and then what kind of training and certificate programs and degrees are there available right here within arm's reach that they can plug into in order to get those qualifications. So
those are those students that we have tons of that we know would be great for your businesses. The problem is we've never really had a way to say, hey, this is how you get involved. This is what you need to be doing. If you are interested in this, these are the steps that you need to take. And so thank you for being a part of that, because this is something that's going to be very rewarding for students.
So they're going to be encouraged to go around and have conversations. Over on the other side, you'll see where we have also provided for the kids in the yellow area, and you've got the slides in front of you, some conversation starters. So that if it's a quiet kid and you're with the school and you want to give your students a little bit of preparation, wink wink, I hope you do, about this event before they board the bus, you might go over what some of these conversation starters are and maybe think of a few others, so that way they're not just staring at each other or avoiding having those conversations with the professionals that are taking the time to be there. There's also a spot there where they can make notes. And we're wanting this to be a usable document that they can access later and refer to. So we built in an incentive program. We were doing gold stars. We were calling it the Gold Star program because I remember gold stars, many of you might. But then we found out gold stars are more expensive than assorted color stars. So now we're just stars. So now we've got star rewards. So now it's the star program. And same concept. So I just wanted to introduce to you what this is, so that way the businesses are knowing how to put it into full use. And then also those of you who are working with students that are going to be attending, then you can kind of prime them and prep them a little bit like this too. Real quickly, this is not a trophy occasion. This is not soccer tournament for 4-year-olds or 8th graders even, like I've endured myself. And everybody gets a trophy, whether they scored 8 goals or defended the goal box or played center mid excellently, kept that ball moving in bounds. This is a glimpse into real world. And for some of the students, we realize that's going to be a little surprising. But I think everybody in the end is going to be glad that we've structured it this way. There's going to be ample number of stars made available at each of the exhibitor booths. And so you are going to be able to reward those students by placing a star on your booth number. So if you remember back and you look on your slide, when you were setting up, if you know you set up at booth number 5, for instance, and they're going to travel in packs, and you've got 4 high schoolers in front of you, and 3 of them are outstanding, and they're asking great questions. They actually act like they care, and they're, giving you firm handshakes and good eye contact, and asking follow-up questions, or really trying to be engaged. Whether they spend 3 minutes there, because there's not a lot of time, and they know it. So whether they spend 3 minutes there, or pretty much the whole time, they're that engrossed and engaged, feel free to reward them as you see fit. So give them 4 or as many stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, whatever you feel that they have earned as far as displaying those soft skills that are being emphasized back at the high schools, and the professional skills that your businesses are going to be looking for in them when they come around to apply. Just let's go ahead and get them started on that foot, where it is a bit of a competitive world out there, and it isn't all trophy time. So this is Misty Chandler. She's been, you've had a lot of great experience in similar events. I just thought maybe you would just kind of give a quick glimpse as to what they might expect. If you want to talk a little bit more about how the Star Rewards will work and troubleshooting or live and learn lessons.
Well, and so I'm curious from our employer partners, how many of you have staffed a booth where you've engaged with this age group? Have you done this before? Any kind of gives context on, I've been being very experienced in hosting these types of events from the college level, and doing it with advanced manufacturing. And so getting 700 juniors excited about advanced manufacturing is something that I spent a lot of time doing. And so the way we found success was it's all about just making memories. And so if you think about that, if that's your goal, what memory am I going to make? Then you have reached the goal of the day. And so the purpose of the star is to help you make that memory. And so I share her passion in that if you have questions about, okay, what can I do at my booth to really connect with students on this career pathway, there are some really innovative ways to be totally relevant and totally accurate, but totally cool. And so I'm happy, we're all helping to help you brainstorm in that area if you already don't have your cool factor. But the main thing is, if you make that one memory that either they stick with or that they actually go back and tell a family member, do you know what I did today? You can feel like it was a success. And so one of the ways to do that is with the stars. And so I do want to give you permission to be completely not equal. I think you talked about that, but I think that, you know, a lot of people are like, okay, what's my matrix? This is worth 1 star, this is worth 2 stars. I think it's really more about that gut reaction as an employer. And so if you have that student, it's okay in that group of 4 that one gets 3 and one gets 1 if you want to give out multiple stars. But there are no rules to the stars. You make your own rules because you as an employer make your own rules for your company. You know what's good. You know that is suit and tie what you want or is it not? And so if a student really does dress, I've had schools where they said, okay, dress for success, and then we see how all the students interpret that. You can really reward the students that got it right because that will be a memory. And tell them, you look sharp, you get 2 stars. You just made a memory because there might be, I've never been another person to tell that student that comment before. You just made a memory, and that will go with them forever. And so these stars can be a really powerful way for you to connect with them or tell them, that was an excellent question. You know that's the best question I've had all day? You get my only last gold star that was on my sheet of multicolored stars. And so those are things that make memories for these students, and they will remember your company for it. And so if that relieves some pressure, that's part of what the stars are for. But to know, to expect in these events, this is a very manageable size, even though you're like 300 people, what do I do? But probably expect anywhere from 4 to 5 at clusters at a time. And so just as you prep if it's you or the people that you're sending, can they handle it when 3 or 4 people they're gonna have this sheet, and some of them will be nervous and they'll be reading that question verbatim, because I've had that, because I've used this format and it's very successful, that they're reading the sheet and they're asking the question. And they're like, give me my star. And you're like, well, wait a minute, what do you think about that question? You know, and really engage with them. And it might be that you really draw on the 1 or all 4 are really with it. They came together. These are motivated students because of how they were brought in. So just to be prepared for that, but also is your person ready if there's 12 people or 20? And if your booth is really interactive, you could have that glamour factor she was talking about, and you're the booth of the moment, and they're all on you. And are you ready for that? Do you have the person that can talk loud enough, you know, because you want to be sure that the students can hear. But just to be prepared for that, you're not the disciplinarian, and so if they are being, you know, you never know the day, it might be a full moon, it might, and so if they're being rowdy, you can just be like, you know, I'm going to move on to the next group, I'm going to let you guys do that, and let the chaperones will take care of that. That's why people are with them. You're not the one that's supposed to say, okay, be quiet, you know, that's not your job. You just go to the ones that look engaged and professional, and you kind of take care of them and reward them with your attention. So any concerns or anything, we can talk about it through the day, but just, it's a very exciting opportunity to show students something new. And I will tell you, it'll be a great day, because when students learn about these careers that they never would have heard of otherwise, there's a great satisfaction in knowing that you probably lit a light bulb somewhere that will change someone's life, because they would have never known. And these are career paths that are for very kinesthetic learners that often don't get that immediate reward as they're career searching. And they kind of get left out sometimes. And these are wonderful career pathways that can change a life. And so thank you for being a part of it. And we are glad to support you in any way to get you there.
It's hard to read. We're going to have it available online, particularly because I think the schools are going to be surprised by the information. So if you want to look a little more closely at your slide, but we have found 3 important industry guides from Mid-America Regional Council council that were already made. We have supplemented with 2 that they did not put together yet, but that we're featuring at the event, and that is engineering and skilled trades. And so we're providing kind of a continuum. At the top of one, right here I happen to be pointing at supply chain, talks about what can you get if you graduate with a high school diploma, what kind of job can you get, just a sampling. What kind of certification or knowledge do you need to have about the job. And then pay, as well as current job openings, current as of whatever the report date is. But anyway, it does kind of get, it's recent information, does kind of give a pretty good snapshot. And I think the last thing might say, what employee, can't read it. But this is really helpful because it also shows the continuum all the way to post-grad and what you can get with those kinds of degrees. Those 4 colleges and universities I was telling you about, Johnson County Community College, KU Edwards, K-State Olathe, Mid-American Nazarene, amazingly, they all offer programs, educational programs that tie back to our targeted industries, even supply chain management. And so we're compiling updated resource information. We'll have those available to the employers in advance. Not for some reason in advance, definitely at the booth space. So if you're talking to somebody and they're like, great, I want to do this, but I want to do programming, or I want to be an engineering tech, but I don't know what to do next. I haven't taken those classes in high school yet, or I'm about to graduate and I don't have room in my schedule. What do I do? How do I get that training? You'll be able to refer to that, and those schools are also going to have booth space on the floor with you guys. They may even be right next to you. And so you can direct the students to what school they should have that next conversation with, and just kind of bring the whole thing full circle. So it should be really exciting. If it isn't, don't tell me. Burst my bubble. Okay, any last questions before we break in? There's just a couple quick announcements. I know it's been a long day for everybody. That we are going to do a quick little breakout, and just in keeping with the high school theme, I thought skins and shirts wouldn't be appropriate. So I want exhibitors in schools. So I thought maybe those that are going to do business exhibitors, just kind of stay put. You're far outnumbered the schools that are